Hi, my speech tonight is going to be on the Ironclad class of ship and how that has shaped into the modern day ships that we have today. Until just shortly before the start of the US Civil War, in the Crimean War, of which saw the British and French field this new weapon, the Ironclad. From 1853 to 1856, these naval batteries with essentially no motors would be towed into position and allowed to bombard their target. Before the age of flight, this surely could have been a devastating weapon had it been properly mobilized by a seafaring nation of the time. The fleet that bombarded the Russian-controlled Crimean forts were bombarded by only 4 ships, 2 of each nation, France, of which contained the Gloire and Couronne, and Britain, which sailed the Black Prince and Warrior respectively. The French Navy's iron plates were about 4.5 inches thick and backed by heavy timber. Displacing 5,617 tons, this vessel carried 36 guns. In conjunction, the 2 aforementioned British ironclads, each of 9,210 tons and capable of 14.5 knots, were completed in 1861 and 1862 respectively. Not until the Civil War would a U.S. Navy and Confederate States Navy construct similar, albeit shallow-depth, gunboat artillery batteries and ultimately the ironclads that would make history. In 1861, U.S. Navy Captain James Buchanan Eads, who had proposed this idea earlier to the dismissive attitudes of the U.S. Navy prior to hostilities, then constructed shallow draft armored gunboats for the use on the mighty Mississippi and her tributaries. However, on March 9, 1862, history was changed forever when the first 2 ironclad warships of the U.S. Navy and Confederate States Navy, the Monitor and Virginia respectively, although the Virginia is often misattributed to the Merrimack, fought the very first duel of the modern age off Hampton Roads in Virginia. These ships helped form the modern military naval vessel, from an aircraft carrier to a frigate, and none more famous than the battleships. No, not until over 50 years later at the famed German successes at the Battle of Jutland would such a duel be fought, or even the sinking of the HMS Hood and the subsequent sinking of the battleship Bismarck during World War II would such modern technology be tried and tempered in combat. There is no doubt, however, that the leaps and bounds since the days of the ironclads have improved our lives. According to unctad.org, we can see in 2021 alone, which was the last reported year, 11 billion tons of goods were moved by sea. We could have never done so without the building of these beautiful ships. One actual boat survived the war by being raised. The USS Cairo, built in 1862, was preserved and can be seen at the Vicksburg National Military Park in Missouri and Louisiana. So the next time you see a ship, any metal ship, remember the ironclads of antiquity, for those brave souls who took their hands in the shape of their destinies, like so many have after.